This is the story of a homeless man who gave everything he had to help a stranger. What happened next? No one could have predicted. His life took a turn that even he couldn't have imagined. Sam wasn't always like this. There was a time, not too long ago, when he had a stable job, a cozy apartment, and a sense of security. But life had a way of changing directions without warning. After losing his job due to company cutbacks, he tried everything: side gigs, odd jobs, selling personal belongings. But the debts kept piling up. One by one, the comforts of life slipped through his fingers until he was left with nothing but the clothes on his back and the hope that maybe tomorrow would be better. Today, however, felt different. As he wandered aimlessly down the busy city streets, stomach growling with hunger, Sam realized he was nearing the point of desperation. He hadn't eaten in over 24 hours, and the fatigue was starting to set in. With a sigh, he looked around at the crowd. Faces blurred together, people moved on with their lives, unaware of his struggles. "Excuse me," Sam called out softly, almost ashamed to ask. "Do you have any change to spare? I'm just trying to get a meal." Person after person passed him by, without so much as a glance in his direction. But then a man stopped. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a $20 bill, and handed it to Sam without hesitation. "Here you go, take this," the man said, a warm smile lighting up his face. Sam was taken aback. His hands trembled as he took the money. "Are you sure? This is way more than I need." The man nodded. "Yes, I'm sure. It's not much, but I've learned that helping others when I can is the best way to help myself." Sam's eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me." The stranger smiled, patted him on the shoulder, and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Clutching the $20 in his hand, Sam felt a wave of relief wash over him. For the first time in days, he had enough money for a hot meal, and maybe even enough for the next few days. As he walked toward the nearest convenience store, Sam couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe things would start to turn around. Maybe today was the day his luck would change. But fate had other plans. Just as Sam was nearing the store, he spotted a figure huddled against the wall, another homeless man, dressed in torn clothes, looking even worse off than Sam had felt just moments ago. The man, who appeared to be in his late 30s, sat with his head bowed, his face hidden behind a mess of tangled hair. "Excuse me," the man said in a low voice, barely lifting his head. "Do you have any change to spare?" Sam stopped in his tracks. He looked down at the $20 in his hand, the bill that was supposed to buy him a few days of food and a brief reprieve from the hunger gnawing at his stomach. But looking at the man in front of him, Sam saw a reflection of himself, just moments ago, asking for the same small favor. Without thinking twice, Sam knelt down beside the man. "Here," he said softly, handing him half of what he had just been given. "Take this. It's enough for breakfast and lunch." The man lifted his head, his tired eyes filled with surprise. "You're giving this to me?" he asked, incredulous. "But you look like you need it just as much as I do." Sam smiled weakly. "I do, but someone just helped me out, and I want to do the same for you." The man, who introduced himself as Alex, shook his head in disbelief. "I don't know how to thank you." "There's no need to thank me," Sam replied. "We're all in this together, right?" As the two men sat on the sidewalk, they began to talk. Alex shared his story, how he had been laid off from his job as a construction worker and had spent months searching for work, only to end up homeless when he could no longer afford to pay rent. Sam nodded along, sharing his own story about losing everything after giving his savings to a friend who had scammed him. For a while, they sat in silence, sharing a bond forged by their shared struggles. Sam took off his jacket and handed it to Alex. "You'll need this more than I do," he said. "It's starting to get cold out, and I can manage without it for now." Alex tried to refuse, but Sam insisted. "Helping others is how we help ourselves," he said with a smile, repeating the words the stranger had said to him earlier. Sam walked away, not knowing that this single act of kindness was about to change his life in ways he couldn't imagine. The next day, as Sam sat in his usual spot, trying to figure out his next move, he spotted a familiar face approaching him. It was Alex, or at least it looked like Alex. But something was different. Instead of the ragged clothes and defeated expression from the day before, Alex was now dressed in a crisp suit, clean-shaven, and standing tall with a confident smile. "Sam, I've been looking all over for you," Alex called out, rushing over to him. Sam blinked in disbelief. "Alex, what happened to you? You look completely different." Alex chuckled. "Actually, my name isn't Alex. It's David, and I'm not homeless. I'm the CEO of a large company." Sam stared at him, speechless, trying to process what he was hearing. "I was undercover yesterday," David explained. "I go out occasionally, pretending to be homeless, looking for people who are genuinely kind, people who would give to others, even when they have little themselves. You, Sam, gave me almost everything you had. Your money, your jacket, your time. That's rare, and I want to repay your kindness." David handed Sam an envelope. "This is for you. There's enough money in here to keep you going for a while. And I've also arranged for you to stay at a hotel nearby. It's already paid for, and you can stay as long as you need." As Sam stood there, too stunned to speak, David handed him one last thing: a job offer. "It's an entry-level position at my company," David said with a smile. "But it comes with a decent salary, $45,000 a year. I know with your attitude you'll do great things. If you're ready for it, the job is yours." Tears filled Sam's eyes as he looked at the job offer. He couldn't believe it. Just 24 hours ago, he had been wandering the streets, wondering how he would survive another day, and now he had a future, a real chance to rebuild his life. David smiled warmly. "You taught me something important, Sam. Helping others truly is how we help ourselves, and now it's your turn to rise." Sam's life changed that day in ways he could have never expected, all because of one small act of kindness. It's a reminder to us all, when we put good into the world, it always finds a way to come back to us, often when we need it most. If this story touched you, don't forget to share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button for more uplifting stories like this. Until next time, remember, kindness always comes back around.